Hi. If you don't know who I am, my name is Great Value and I love talking politics and I love Smash Brothers. There are very few things that overlap the two except for like one event that happened earlier this year, but I try my best. You see, the age gap with most people who consider themselves gamers, people ages 18 through 24, have the lowest voter turnout according to Pew Research, and we need to change that. I don't know whether it's because gamers are allergic to grass, scared of women, or some combination of the two, but I believe it is my civic duty as the only politically literate Smash player in the world to inform the gamer community about the likely candidates for the 2028 presidential race. Mind you, as of the writing/editing of this video, we are around 2 years from voting day and about a year before campaigns start picking up steam, so take this guide with a grain of salt. Some of the people mentioned in this video may not run, while the person who ends up being our president in 2028 may not even be on this list. A quick disclaimer. This list is mostly for comedic effect and does contain some biases due to how I personally see every candidate and Smash characters I compare them to. Please, for the love of God, do your own research before voting, as you may value certain aspects of the United States more than others, such as the economy or foreign policy. You have enough time to do like 5 minutes of research from now until the 2028 election. Without further ado, this is the Smasher's Guide to the 2028 presidential election. A popular candidate for the Democrats right now is Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or more popularly known as AOC. Think of her like Mario. Much like Mario, she's a person with solid fundamentals. She hasn't had many flashy results in her time in Congress, but has proven that she's a hard worker with high ambition. Like Mario in the early days of Smash, she is a very popular pick with name recognition, but time will tell if her popularity feigns in the upcoming years. Gavin Newsom, the current governor of California, is a lot like Young Link. To the average person, both seem really great on paper. Gavin Newsom has helmed a strong economy in California and has led the charge against President Trump, and Young Link has these incredibly safe moves that combo kill and do everything under the sun. However, if you take a look under the hood, you start to see some less than stellar things. For example, Young Link has an exploitable recovery which holds him back significantly, while Gavin Newsom has done some things in office that have made him unpopular to a growing progressive base in the Democratic Party. Josh Shapiro, like Gavin Newsom, is the governor of his state, Pennsylvania. He has done some popular actions for his state, such as raising minimum wage and increasing renewable energy production. Think of Josh Shapiro like Terry. Both are solid, competitive choices with huge upsides, but the major thing holding them back is their connections to Israel. When you think of boring and overdone, you might think of Kamala Harris. The majority of voters don't care if she would have been a good president. No one wants to see the same person do the same thing over and over again year after year. Your time is up. Move on. If only there was a Smash character known for doing the same thing over and over again while being boring as hell. Pete Buttigieg is Baby's first candidate, much like how Kirby is Baby's first Smash character. Not saying that there's anything wrong with picking either when first getting into Smash or politics. In fact, I encourage it. But once you get more familiar with either, you start to notice that there are options that just fit you better. Pete isn't economically progressive enough for the progressives and isn't economically conservative enough for the conservatives. He supports environmental protections that upset conservatives, while at the same time not going far enough for progressives. Likewise, Kirby isn't fast enough to be a rushdown character, while also not having long enough disjoints to zone people out. Neither are bad picks, but in this current meta and political climate, there's probably a choice that suits you better. Finally, for the Democrats, we have Andy Beshear, who many consider to be a sort of dark horse candidate for the Democrats in 2028. Much like Shulk, he has a lot of potential. Both have had a lot of success at the local and state level. However, time will tell if their success carries over to the big stage. Andy has done things that have made him appealing to voters across the political spectrum, which is probably what allowed him to win the governor's seat in the deeply red state of Kentucky, such as expansions to Medicaid and investments into public infrastructure. This is sort of similar to how Shulk has access to Monado, which makes him appealing to players who want that added versatility. For the Republicans, there's no clear frontrunner as of now, but we're gonna get one out of the way very quickly. Donald J. Trump is Steve because, like I and many others believe, you should not be allowed to pick them. JD Vance, much like Snake, seems to be able to get out of any situation. In 2016, he called Trump America's Hitler. In 2020, he said that if he had been vice president during the 2020 presidential election, he would have not certified the results. In 2024, he claimed that Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs despite there being zero evidence, and here he is as the vice president to the same man he called Hitler. Months later, he doubled down on the 2020 election conspiracy and claimed big tech rigged the election, which again, there's zero evidence for. JD Vance somehow stumbled into being the face of the Iran peace agreement, and we all know how that's going. JD Vance is constantly getting himself into tough situations, yet he always seems to be able to get out of them. Much like Snake and his bullshit Frame 1 grenades that get him out of any sticky situation. Marco Rubio, current Secretary of State and acting National Security Advisor, had a popular meme back in 2016 that referred to him as a robot due to his mechanical speeches, rehearsed lines, and soulless eyes. If only there was a Smash character that was a soulless robot. Ron DeSantis is exactly what the Republicans, or at least what the current Republican platform, want in a president. In 2021, he led the effort to ban critical race theory and literally passed the Stop Woke Act. He limited abortion protections, banned trans women from participating in middle school, high school, and collegiate sports. He has passed anti-immigration legislation that have turned Florida into a sort of anti-sanctuary state. Just like Diddy Kong, he seems like a really strong choice for people who wanted things done a certain way. And just like Diddy Kong, the thing that stood between him and victory was a certain man mentioned earlier in the video. If the big bad scary man is gone, it should be smooth sailing for them, right? Dan Greeny, as of this video's post date, is the only person who has formally declared to run for the 2028 presidential election. Let's be honest with ourselves, he's not a real choice. He has zero political experience, unless you count writing Simpsons episodes as experience, which we don't, because why would we? If we're comparing him to a Smash character, he wouldn't even be a character in the game. He'd be like that whale guy from Rivals of Aether because he's not a real choice. Sorry, Dan. Finally, we're on to Eric, Ivanka, and Donald Trump Jr. Much like the Koopas, all the Trumps are the same flavor, just with different skin. All of Trump's kids would essentially represent a continuation of the current administration for better or for worse. Also, really fun connection, the best Bowser Jr. was implicated on fraud just like Trump's kids, and just like Trump's kids, they both only got a slap on the wrist. So there you have it, the official Smasher's Guide to the 2028 presidential election. Did I get some things wrong? Did I miss out on a potential presidential candidate? Let me know in the comment section down below. Additionally, if you're interested in more Smash/political content, check out the Very Real podcast, where we play Smash Brothers while discussing the news of the week. I still don't know why I do it. It's the dumbass concept. Anyways, that's it for this video. Maybe next time I'll rank the electability of each Smash character based on their policy platform.